guys, Kimmie here. Just a quick intro to what you're about to see, but first, I don't know what's going on with my highlighter. It's like blinding. It doesn't look like that in person, but it's coming over on camera very, very bright. Like, too bright. I don't know. I don't know what's happening there. Also, on my eyes, I am wearing the Vivid Rose. Now, if you saw my unboxing, you know how excited I was to open these palettes from Give Me Glow. Give Me Glow. I know in the video I keep saying Glam Light. That's why I had to add it. I kept adding, I don't know why I kept saying Glam Light. But they're from Give Me Glow. Now, I don't know how I feel about this palette. I thought I was going to love it, but the mattes, they seem like they're a little hard to work with. I don't know. Maybe it's me. The shimmers are beautiful, but I'm like, you know when you open up a palette and you're like wowed by it, and then you try it on and you're like, oh, okay. I'm kind of feeling like that right now. It's like kind of mixed feelings for me, but it's just one time. I've only tried it once, so we'll see. Maybe it'll, you know, we'll try it a couple of times. We'll give it a fair chance. No reaction so far, but I've only been wearing it a couple of hours. Usually if I was to get a reaction, it wouldn't have happened that fast. Also, the lighting, I know it's very dark. There's nothing I can do. We are waiting for a hurricane here on Long Island. We are actually waiting for a hurricane, and it is 2 hours late. Yeah, it's like 2 hours late, so hopefully it's a no-show, which would be great. I know it is supposed to hit out east a lot more than it's supposed to hit here, but it was supposed to hit here, and so far it really hasn't done anything except get super dark, which is great. So hopefully it just passes over, but I thought, let me just film this and get it out of the way, just in case it does come. And I'll just, I don't know. What do you do? Go under the bed. You have to wait it out. What else can you do? But like I said, hopefully it will just pass us over. Okay. So anyway, what you're about to see, a couple of days ago, or I don't know the exact timing, but if you're seeing this, then I have already posted my DIY video. I will link it down below. I'll also link the unboxing video. Did I already say that? I don't know, but I will. Anyway, I linked the DIY video of me trying on some DIY makeup. Now, why did I include that in the nickel allergy series? Because I know from experience that you may be tempted to do it. I know I was. When I was diagnosed, I decided that I was going to do the DIY thing. You have control. You know what's in it. It sounded like a good idea. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It's a lot easier said than done. You need a lot of patience, as you'll see in the video. And it just didn't come out like I wanted it to, and as I realized that I could wear some makeup and that there was iron oxide free makeup, some of it anyway, I just kind of abandoned ship. But like I said, some people are really into it. It might be something that you like. I don't know. Originally, I was going to make it all into one video. I was going to make the makeup and try it on all in one video. But what ended up happening is that it took me so much longer than I thought it would. And it was too long and it was too monotonous. Even with editing, it was just, it would have been way too much. So I decided if you are interested in seeing and how I made those things, this is where you'll see it. So I just decided to put it in another video. So that's what you're about to see. And I did use timestamps below. So if you're only interested in seeing one or two things, just check out the timestamps. Like you only want to see the eyeliner or the eyebrow filler. I just point those two things out because I felt that those two work the best. But it's all down there. It's all timestamped. I've also linked the recipes below. If you are interested in them, I also noted where I tweaked it, but you'll see it in the video. And I think that's it. So I present to you the supplement of my nickel allergy part 4. The making of DIY makeup, part 1 of 1, because I am never doing this again. Enjoy. Okay guys, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go in the order that I would put makeup on. So we're going to start with our primer. Now I'll link everything, all the recipes that I'm using below. I got this from a website called Nubulace? I'm not sure how you say it. But again, I'll link it below. And I actually liked this website. It was a little interesting. It has 9 different DIY primers. So obviously with the primer, you want to go by your skin type. So I have very dry skin, which is why I chose this one. If you don't have dry skin, you obviously don't want to use this one. But they do have primers for oily skin, acne-prone skin. Yeah, so just visit that website and pick a primer and you are well on your way. So, but if you do have dry skin and you want to use this one, this is the one I'm going to do. So it uses aloe gel, vegetable glycerin, and a moisturizer, and it says specifically to use a facial moisturizer, so I'm going to go with this one from Peach and Lily, which is the moisturizer that I've been using in the morning, and it's just a teaspoon of each thing. So this should be relatively easy. I have this empty jar and I have a teaspoon, so it doesn't say to go in any specific order, and I can't see where that would matter with these ingredients. Whoop, sorry, that was a camera. So let's see. Okay. So we have our gel. Now we're gonna have our vegetable oil. Excuse me. Yeah, vegetable glycerin. Sort of right. Yep, I did not open it. Okay. Maybe I should get like some music to play in the background. Okay. And then last but not least, actually, I'm going to get a napkin to wipe that off. Alright, so we'll just take the lotion. This stuff is really good, by the way. I actually like, I don't think it has to be an exact teaspoon. I actually really like Peach and Lily. They make some pretty good stuff. Okay, so there you have it. This will be our primer. So this is aloe and lotion, or facial moisturizer, and vegetable oil. I don't know, guys. That's the end consistency. Try it out. Boom. Primer. Next. Okay, guys, so basically we are going from probably the most easy thing we're gonna do today to the most difficult, which is foundation. Foundation is such a personal thing, right? There's so much that goes into it. You have to factor in what kind of skin you have. Do you have dry skin? Do you have oily skin? You have to factor in the kind of coverage that you want. Do you like a lot of coverage? Do you not like that much? You have to factor in your skin tone, what kind of shade you need. So there's just a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. And most of the DIY recipes that you will find online are powder foundation. So if you are somebody that can wear a powder foundation, you are probably better off with that. Someone with my dry skin, there's no way I can wear a powder foundation. So I decided to try this one from the Wellness Mama, but I have to tell you, this recipe is so tweaked. It almost doesn't even resemble what the original one is, and I'll tell you what I mean. So she has two versions of this recipe. The first one you can make your own base, and the second one you can just use a natural lotion. That's what I'm going to do. This is not the one that she recommended, but I couldn't find the one she recommended, so we're going to use this one. It's called Live Clean. I've never used it before, but it says that it is 98% plant and naturally derived, so that's good enough. This recipe also calls for mica, which I eliminated for obvious reasons. Also said you can use your own natural mineral makeup, which I eliminated for obvious reasons. So now what are we down to? We're down to clay, zinc oxide powder, and cocoa powder. So for the clay, I chose this one, natural kaolin clay. You could use bentonite clay. In fact, I think that's the one that she recommended, but to be honest with you, I wasn't 100% sure. I believe there are two types, right? There's two types of bentonite clay, and one of them is the one that's in that mask, that Aztec mask. I think that's the main ingredient in it. Now, if you've ever used that mask, you know it's a very, very intense mask. It's not something that you would want in makeup. It's great for detoxing your skin, but it's not something that you would want in makeup. So I'm going to assume that it's the food grade bentonite clay that we're talking about here, but I'm not 100% sure. So I decided to go with this one because this I know is a white cosmetic clay. It also offers some UV protection, not as much as zinc oxide. So if you do decide that you want to use this recipe, you like it, and it works for you, then I would definitely add the zinc oxide because that will give you a lot more sun protection than this will. But this is good enough for what we're going to do today. And then the color comes from cocoa powder. Now the obvious problem with that for us is nickel, right? Cocoa powder is full of nickel. Will you have a reaction if you use it on your face? Probably not. I don't think there's that much in it that would actually give you a reaction, especially if you're someone that can tolerate eating chocolate. But why chance it, especially for our purpose? We'll take it out of the equation. And we are going to put in nutmeg, a non or at least very low nickel food. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen here because like I said, this recipe is tweaked almost till it's unrecognizable, but we're gonna see. It's also not an exact recipe. We're just supposed to add 5 times more clay than we do other stuff to use for the coloring, but the only thing that we can use for coloring is nutmeg because what does she use? She uses cocoa powder and mica and mineral makeup. None of that we can use. So we're gonna try to make foundation out of this clay, this lotion, and this nutmeg powder. And we're gonna see what we get. I have no idea. I can't make any promises here. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we're onto something. I'm just gonna squirt this lotion in here. And we'll use some clay and see what we get. This has like the consistency of flour, so it's kind of messy. It can go all over. I have a feeling this is not going to work. I have a feeling okay, well, we definitely need more lotion in this. Let's see. And oh my goodness. Yeah. I definitely put too much clay in. But I will say, this does seem like it might have a coverage consistency, but it's kind of bumpy. Let's see. You know, okay, well, it might, I don't know. It might, this might have some potential. You can kind of see. It looks like pancake batter right now. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's thick, but you would want it to be thick so it gives you coverage and staying power. So, but honestly, I don't know. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of nutmeg and see what happens. Not gonna add, ooh, smell. I'm not gonna add that much because well, I'm not that light. Let's add a little bit more. Yeah. This isn't, all right, so nutmeg doesn't seem to be doing the trick. I'm going to assume that cocoa powder would give you a lot more coverage. I think my camera just blinked. I don't know. Let's see. Made it a little bit darker. Yeah, I think you would definitely have to use some cocoa powder. So let's see if we just use a tiny bit. And like I said, this is a little risky. Ooh, way too much. Oh my god, it smells I just made such a mess. This smells really good. But that kind of changed the consistency. So yeah, this is one of those things that's kind of a disaster. It's not even really picking up the color. I can't imagine how you would actually get like your foundation color. This is like, and now I am using cocoa powder, ladies and gentlemen. This is not nutmeg, which I know you're not supposed to use. That wasn't her recipe, so. Okay. How is that gonna give us any coverage whatsoever? Well, I mean, you would have to use, like, how much of this cocoa powder would you have to use to really get this, like, try it again. All right, well, you would get, well, it's kind, right now it's kind of like the absolutely lightest BB cream you could ever imagine. So let's just try to put more in. But if you really needed a dark shade of this, I can't imagine what, I mean, you'd have to use the, I mean, I thought I put in quite a bit, and I didn't even really want to use cocoa powder because of what we're dealing with, but just to see. I think I'm just going to, oh, it is getting a little bit, darker. So this is kind of like a mousse kind of foundation deal. And I use primarily nutmeg. I did use a little cocoa powder, but obviously if you react to cocoa powder, that's not a good idea. Honestly, I don't think any of this is such a good idea, but that's just me. All right, so I just don't see, let's just, you know what, for the sake of science, this is what I'll do. I'll take a tiny bit of what, you know, how much I would actually going to use. It's not going to be that much because I'm not going to need that much, actually. That's more than enough. Okay, so I took that, right? Let's see. We'll just put the nutmeg if we can make this really much darker. Because maybe I'm just not. Maybe I'm just not. Okay, let's see. If this makes it darker, significantly darker. Nope, not really. It kind of has the same color. All right, so let's try more cocoa powder, even though, just to see if it makes it darker. Okay, it's quite a bit. Smells good. All right, so yeah, so this is what's gonna make it darker. So apparently it's difficult, if not impossible, to get here with not just nutmeg. You would have to use the cocoa powder. Now we have to use more lotion. So this DIY is not going to work for somebody who reacts to cocoa powder, nickel and cocoa powder. And pretty much all the most DIY recipes with this kind of foundation or even bronze or whatever all include cocoa powder. So if you're not someone that can wear it, that's really not going to help you. If you are someone that wants to try it, you might be able to use this one. Let me see if I feel like I'm cooking. Yeah. See? Yeah. I mean, it's not definitely not my shade, but this will give you a much darker foundation. So I'll see if I can how it lasts on me, like how it works. And then if you are someone that wants to try this, you do need to use the cocoa powder. You can't just substitute it with nutmeg. I thought you could, but you can't. So like I said, if you're someone that has a reaction to chocolate, this isn't going to work for you. If you're someone that doesn't react to chocolate with the Nickel Mountain chocolate, you might want to try it. I don't know. Let me see the color that I ended up with. Yeah, that's about right for me. All right, so this is our foundation, and this definitely needs more lotion. You can see how like the consistency is not that attractive, but all of these products, like, you really have to tweak them. There's no exact science behind it. It's just, it's kind of like cooking. Like, you have to tweak it to your liking. So if we put more lotion in, you could make it like smoother. Yeah. It actually doesn't seem too bad. This is the one with more lotion up here. The camera's out of focus. It doesn't seem too bad. This might work as a DIY foundation. I'm not sure. And like I said, I don't want to put too much cocoa in it because, I mean, any more cocoa in the one that I'm going to try, because if you really are trying to avoid nickel, you're not going to want to make a cocoa foundation. But, all right. So that is the foundation. We'll see how it works, and we'll move on to the next thing. Alrighty, so let's make some eyebrow filler. Why not? This recipe comes to us from ablossominglife.com. That is a really, really cute name. Okay, so this recipe calls for arrowroot powder. Actually, it says cornstarch, but I'm using arrowroot powder. People use arrowroot powder mostly to bake or like thicken sauces. Activated charcoal, again, has a few uses. What's funny about activated charcoal is I have seen it, I've seen people say not to use it near the eyes when you look online, and then I have seen DIY recipes for like eye ailments. So I have no idea. We're gonna try it. We'll see what happens. It's used for skincare, teeth whitening, hangover relief. Oh, that's good to know. So we have that. This recipe, unfortunately, also calls for cocoa powder, so we're gonna try to leave that out. And finally, castor oil. Castor oil is so good for your eyebrows and your eyelashes. If you are trying to grow out either, instead of using, like, one thing I do believe in, instead of using those serums, those like growing serums, whatever, just try a little bit of castor oil. It's really, really good, and it actually works. You just have to give it a little bit of time. Okay. So we're going to use that. We're going to use these three things. We're going to see what happens. Now, we're supposed to use 1.5 teaspoons of castor oil. So I'm going to take this jar. And where's my 1 teaspoon? Oh, here's my 1 teaspoon. Okay. And you can also use it in like hair masks. It's actually good for a lot of things. Okay, and half. All right, so we have our castor oil, and we need a teaspoon of cornstarch. So like I said, I'm going to use the arrowroot powder. Sorry, I moved the camera. Hopefully it doesn't have to be exact. We'll see. Okay, so, and then what we're supposed to do into this is add 2.5 teaspoons of cocoa powder. So that's like a big ingredient. So let's see if we just mix this, what happens, and maybe we can just use activated charcoal. There's no actual amount of activated charcoal. It just says to use, you know, to like the color of your eyebrows. I usually use taupe when I do my eyebrows. So yeah, I don't know. Is that like, you know what? The cocoa powder will make it also not as liquidy. So we could try it. But like I said, if you react to chocolate, then it's not a good idea. So let's just use this and see Let's just see. Hold on, let me open it. Like I said, it doesn't say how much to use, so this is also going to be a mess if we get it anywhere. Okay. So let's see. We just use like, oh my goodness. And it went everywhere. Okay. So, wow. That is not the color of my eyebrows for sure. This is like black. So, once again, I think we are going to we're not going to be able to get away from, do you see my finger? We're not going to be able to get away from using the cocoa powder. So, a lot of these recipes, unfortunately, because so many of them contain cocoa powder, they're just really not going to work if you react. So I thought we could like eliminate it, but also I know that the bronzer has cocoa powder in it. I remember that. Oh my god, this charcoal is a mess. This is an absolute mess. If you ask me right now my opinion, do I think any of this is really worth it? I would have to say no, but we shall see. We shall see. So said that you needed to use what? 2.5 teaspoons of cocoa powder. All right. And I'm presuming that is gonna give it the consistency that it needs to like stay on you. Unless you could use, you know, I wonder if instead of the cocoa powder, before we go there, let's see if we can use this clay to kind of, that kaolin clay we used from the foundation, just to thicken it up. Now this is totally not even in the recipe, but we'll try it anyway. Like I said, it's like a science project. Okay. So if I stir this up, will anything happen? I think it does get thicker. The problem is the color. The color is so like, oh, and you can actually see it. Yeah, that did not work. You can actually, well, now we kind of have like gray. So I wonder if we put nutmeg in. Let's try to put nutmeg in and see if that changes anything. And that way we can avoid the whole cocoa powder thing. Let's see. No. No. It's so drippy. This reminds me of like, yeah. See, this is the problem with a lot of these DIY. I was gonna say it reminds me of when I made homemade mascara. It didn't work. It was like so drippy and it was a disaster. So this is what? Half a teaspoon. Okay, we'll try it. We'll try half a teaspoon of cocoa powder. Let's see. And okay. This recipe actually called for 2.5 teaspoons of cocoa powder, but see, yeah. Cocoa powder definitely makes it thicker. You can see, right? That's why you need so much. Yeah. All right. So at least it makes sense, right? Why they want so much cocoa powder. So we'll put a teaspoon in. So again, if you're someone that reacts to chocolate, this isn't gonna do the trick. But if you're someone that doesn't, then this could work. Your whole face is gonna like smell like chocolate if you do this, by the way. Okay. Let's see. What is my general impression so far? This whole thing has been a mess. It's not, well, for me it hasn't been. It's like, I don't know. I was gonna say it wasn't fun. It's just a pain. It doesn't seem like it's gonna work, and I just don't, I don't know. I'm not into it. Okay, I think this is the best we're gonna do. So here's our brow filler, and let's go ahead and look. Take a look. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be way too, not that it's too dark for my eyebrows, but they're definitely the wrong color. And adding more cocoa powder is just gonna make it more brown. And adding more, what's it called? Activated charcoal will just make it more black. I wonder if I add more arrowroot powder, how that will go. Let me get another spoon. Oh, I can use this one. Oh no, I don't want to use that one. Oh, my poor table. All right, I'm gonna try to use some more arrowroot powder and see if that will make it a little bit lighter, but I honestly don't know if the arrowroot powder will change the color or if it'll just change the consistency of it. It's like going all over the place because I'm mixing it in this tiny little cup. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think that did much. But the consistency is definitely not that drippy consistency anymore, so it might work okay as an eyebrow filler. I don't know. It's definitely not a good color for me, but if you are somebody who's looking for like a brown eyebrow filler, this might do the trick. This might do the trick, but this does have, again, cocoa powder. It doesn't have that much cocoa powder in it. I think I put 1.5 teaspoons, but it does have cocoa powder in it, so there it is. There's our eyebrow filler, and let's move on. Okay guys, so I think I hinted at this before, but I am not a big fan of DIY mascara. One of those reasons being, I have tried it in the past and it definitely did not work. I will insert a picture. This is from, I think 2009. Yeah, I'm sure this is from 2019. I was starting a project which didn't pan out, but basically this is the pretty standard ingredients in any DIY mascara recipe that you will find. They all kind of follow this train of thought. This is what came out, and then this is in makeup tubes, and basically, I mean, it looks okay, but it went everywhere. It did not stay where it was supposed to, which is on your eyelashes. It was just a mess. I did follow the recipe. I guess I could have tried it again and used more wax, but push comes to shove, I did not have, seriously just didn't have the drive or the interest to do it. When I thought about how often I would have to do this, I am someone who doesn't even keep my store-bought mascaras 3 months. I keep them about 6 weeks. I would never keep anything that I made even close to that long, so that's just me. A lot of people have a different opinion on that. That's my opinion on it. So for me to feel better, I would have to make this stuff quite frequently, and it's just not worth it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I never got it right. So we're going to skip over the mascara portion of the program. I honestly wouldn't recommend DIY mascara to anyone. And we are going to go into the eyeliner portion of the program, which uses only 2 ingredients, activated charcoal and distilled water. Now this is coming to us from DIYnatural.com. And 2 ingredients. This should be pretty simple. By the way, guys, always when you're making any kind of cosmetics, you want to make sure that you use distilled water. Distilled water gets rid of all the contaminants, the bacteria, the minerals, everything. Basically, it's been vaporized and liquefied. So you always want to use distilled water when it comes to cosmetics or yeah, like shampoo, whatever you're gonna make. If you're gonna make your own shampoo, your own skincare, whatever the case may be, you always want to reach for distilled water. Is there pure water out there? Yes. If you work in a laboratory, which I do, there's a lot of waters that get even more pure than distilled, but for our purposes, this is more than good enough. So we're gonna go ahead and use some of this distilled water and some charcoal powder, and we are going to make ourselves some eyeliner. We need half a teaspoon. So this time I've measured it out. I'm a little bit smarter this time. And then 2 to 3 drops of distilled water, and we just take it from there and see what we get. So let's see what we get. I'm just going to pour some into the bowl. Okay. And so 2 to 3 drops. I think we're gonna need more than that. That's 3 drops. Sorry guys, I'm out of camera, I'm out of the view. All right. So this is a half a teaspoon of activated charcoal and 3 drops of distilled water. And oh, we're definitely gonna need more water than this. This is like not even close. I put in 3 more drops. Oh my god. This is such a mess. It really is. And it's still just totally powdery. I'm gonna put in even more. There's no way that 3 drops be good enough. All right, well, I think we have enough for our purpose. I don't know, can you see it? It's like, yeah. See how it's like clumping up right here? I don't know why the camera is not focusing. Let me see if I can. See? It's like, why is that not focusing? Well, it is clumping a little bit. I think for what we have, what we're gonna be, I think we have enough. I'll put 1 more drop in. 2. There we go. I think that's better. As it falls all over the place, this is so messy. This is gonna be a mess when I put it on. I know it already. All right, there we go. We have eyeliner. See my hands? Like it's everywhere. And I don't know why. Well, it's in here. Okay. Eyeliner. Next. Guys, so it is time for eyeshadow. By the way, I was reading that a good eye primer to use is simply just aloe gel. So that's easy. We will just use our aloe gel as our eye primer. Now we're going to make some eyeshadow. Now, unfortunately, most of the DIY eyeshadow recipes you will find online call for mica powder. Obviously, we want to skip that, so we are going to use hibiscus powder. Now, the weird thing here is that I always thought hibiscus powder was like a pink or like a red, and when I poured it into my cup, this is what came out. It is much more like a brown. Yeah, like a brown kind of color. So I don't know if this is like normal Actually, I know it's not. It's supposed to be like a red or a pink. So I'm not sure why this particular brand is this color, but we're just going to go with it. So we are going to have more of a brown eyeshadow than we would have a pink eyeshadow. And we're also going to use some shea butter and arrowroot powder. Now, this recipe came right from WikiHow. And it is for a cream eyeshadow, so we will go ahead and give it a try. If you do want a more red shade, you can use beet powder to get that, but like I said, hibiscus powder should, I'm sorry, that was me. Hibiscus powder should be just as good. It should, I don't know. As far as color is concerned, I don't know why it's like this brown color. I always thought that it was more pinkish, but all right, so let's see what happens. So we've measured out ½ teaspoon of arrowroot powder, and then we're just supposed to use as much as we want. Doesn't really matter of the colorant, just to give it a shade. So we'll see, use like a little bit. This is ½ teaspoon of hibiscus powder, so we'll see what that does. Do I have a mixer over here somewhere? Hold on, guys, sorry. All right, so let's see what color we get when we combine this. And yeah, it's kind of like a, you get like a brown, like a, we need more hibiscus powder, definitely. Okay. And let's see. All right, so this I think is a decent color. It's gonna be like a tan. Kind of like going everywhere, but yeah. So that's pretty good. And then we're just supposed to use some shea butter, but it doesn't say how much. So we're just gonna use some. I think it's just to give it like a creamy consistency. So I'm just kind of mixing that in with it. Oh, I'm going everywhere. You know, if I was ever gonna do this again, and I don't foresee that happening, I would definitely just get like some bowls, like bigger bowls, and mix it in there, because that way it wouldn't like go everywhere. Like it is just going everywhere, but that's partly my fault because I'm mixing it in like these really small cups. So you could avoid that. I think we need more. Yeah, we need more shea butter. So yeah, this is our cream eyeshadow. And definitely need more shea butter than I thought we would. Let's see. And that's it, just these 3 ingredients. But this seems like it's gonna be like super dry. It really does. Like, oh, you couldn't use this. Well, okay. So I guess, yeah. Okay, I guess like when you actually use it, it's like it's shea butter, so it kind of like warms up in your hands. I just dropped it on my... Oh my goodness gracious, this is just... So this is a really good example. Like on paper or whatever, you know what I mean? It sounds really good, but then when you go to do it, I'm telling you, it's just like a mess. It's just a mess. So this is our eyeshadow. Yeah, that's it right there. So this is gonna make us some like brown nude eyeshadow. And can you imagine, I mean, if you were really gonna sit here and like play with like all these different things, like, you know, if you wanted to try to make a, I mean, because if you go online, you can, they tell you how to make different colors. So if you were gonna like make like a green or a yellow, can you imagine? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't get the, this definitely does not spark joy to me. But there you have it. We have some eyeshadow, so there you go. Next. All right, guys, so bronzer is up next. And this recipe comes from thankyourbody.com. And this is a recipe for bronzer. Now, this recipe does call for cocoa powder, but we're going to see if we can leave it out. It says cinnamon provides glow, cocoa gives depth and darkness, and nutmeg will give you a sun-kissed brown. So, and cornstarch spreads it all over, and essential oil keeps it together. So we're going to try it without the cocoa powder. Now again, if you are not allergic to cocoa powder or you have no problem using it, you can always put it in. This recipe takes 1 tablespoon of cinnamon powder, so I have already put that there. And then we're going to go in with a teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, let's see. Teaspoon of nutmeg. Half. Where's my teaspoon? Teaspoon is bigger than I thought it was. Okay, we have probably a little bit more than a teaspoon. And what else do I need? We need a teaspoon, oh no, 2 teaspoons of arrowroot powder. Okay, so that's this. One. And 2. And then it tells you to put in 15 drops of essential oil, and it suggests that you use either rosemary or lavender. So I'm going to go ahead and use lavender because I prefer that to rosemary. So this is GYA Labs. Why is this not focusing? There we go. GYA Labs, and I got this off of Amazon. And it said 15 drops, so let's see. And that should give us bronzer. That's about 15. It's like give or take. I think it's a little more. Okay, now I guess we just mix it up and see what we get. So, now this is going to be just a powder. So I guess you can adjust the color with the arrowroot powder, or if you want to make it darker. Actually, this might work. This is going to be super powdery though, and it's overwhelmingly smells like lavender. So I would pick, I can't see where it would really make a difference what oil you use. So, and I think you do need it because this is with oil and it's still like super powdery. I mean, you want it to like stick together a little bit. So pick one that you really like the smell, is what I'm trying to say, because you need it. Combined, all of these products, I can't even imagine. What is this going to smell like? It's going to smell like chocolate, lavender, nutmeg, cinnamon. I don't even know. All right, so there it is. There's our bronzer. Yeah, that, we'll see if it works. I think that if you want to make it darker, you might have to use the cocoa powder. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I have a, let's see. Definitely don't need that much. Okay, here we have it. Homemade bronzer. I am not looking forward to doing my makeup. Okay, guys, for highlighter, we're just going to use lip balm. I read that that's like one of the best highlighters to use. All the homemade highlighter honestly requires mica, because I mean basically that's what highlighter is. You want something that's going to shimmer. So if you can't use mica, you're kind of limited. So the best thing that I read to use is just lip balm. So we're going to use that. So we're going to move on to blush. Okay guys, so we are back with blush. So I have this blush recipe off WikiHow, and it calls for a teaspoon of arrowroot powder, a teaspoon of hibiscus powder, a sprinkle of nutmeg, and some essential oils. So, I mean, it also says that you can add mica for shimmer, but obviously we are not going to be using that. As far as this hibiscus powder that we have, it's really not, I mean, like I said, it is more on the brown side of things than it is on the pink side of things. So we'll see what color you could get. It says that you can use beetroot instead of hibiscus, which I think recommend if I was going to do this again. Although, like I said, I don't think it's supposed to be this color, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. So we need a teaspoon of each. So this should be fairly simple, you would think. Okay, teaspoon of each. So I get arrowroot powder, and it just has to adjust the color as needed. So that's our teaspoon of arrowroot powder, and then we need a teaspoon of hibiscus powder. This is probably about, I'm not gonna put in, maybe I'll put in a, oh, all right. Yeah, see, this is gonna give us like a brown. So like a peach, maybe, like a peach blush. It's definitely not gonna give us a pink blush. And we'll do a sprinkle of nutmeg. It's good enough, I guess. I don't know. And here we have it. This is kind of big. Let me get a smaller mixer. Okay. Yeah, so we're just gonna have like a peachy kind of blush. Honestly, I think I'll put in a little bit more arrowroot powder because this hibiscus powder is so dark and it's not even pink, it's like brown. Ooh. Well, now we'll see what color it is. Oh goodness. This is not, oh, actually that made it significantly lighter, but way too light, right? I think that was probably like, I don't even know how many tablespoons. So I think because I'm getting lazy, I'm going to have to start this one over again. So let me get a new bowl and I will be right back. All right, so I'm back with a bowl, a clean bowl. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take like 2 teaspoons of this mixture I have, which is primarily arrowroot powder, with a tiny bit of hibiscus powder, and maybe put a little bit more hibiscus powder in this and see what we get. Oh goodness. Let's see. All right, I definitely don't want to put too much because then I don't need that much more. Okay, let's see what color this gives me. This is actually probably a better color than before because it's lighter and it's not like that, it kind of looked the same as my bronzer before, but actually this is a little too light, I think, even for blush for me. So I'm going to put a little bit of nutmeg in here. Let's see. Oh, and let me add the oil. It said to put a couple drops. So let me see. All right. Let's see what we got. bad color. I think I have used this color blush before. Maybe I'll just put in a little bit more hibiscus powder. And then we'll call it a day with this. Put in like a tiny bit more. Like that. I think that's good. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, see, like that is kind of, this could work as blush for me. I mean, it's light and it's really not that exciting, but you know, maybe we put in more nutmeg. Will that make it exciting? Probably not. You know, I think maybe mixing your own cosmetics could be fun if you could use like mica, or if you wanted to use mica and just try it, because you could make different colors. Might be kind of cool. All right, so here's our blush. Now, maybe I should just add a tiny bit more hibiscus powder, because I think it needs a little bit more color. And then we're at the home stretch. The last thing we have is lips, and we will have a full face almost of DIY makeup minus mascara and minus what's it called, cover, why can't I think today, minus concealer, because basically the concealer was the same recipe as the foundation. It was just a little more of something or other, and honestly I think we'll have a pretty good, just by trying the foundation, we'll have a pretty good idea. Okay, so this isn't terrible. So this is our blush. It definitely doesn't have enough shimmer for my taste, but since we are avoiding mica, that's going to be hard. I think we have as much shimmer as we are going to get from nutmeg. So there it is. Now that is a pale, pale blush. So you could put more hibiscus powder in, or you could purchase beetroot powder. I think that would be your best bet, and you could make it a lot more pink, but this is what we have. We have this very pale color. Yep. There it is. All right, just lips is left. All right, so the final product that we are going to be assembling is lipstick. We are going to be using, and I got this recipe also off of WikiHow. We are going to be using beeswax pellet, extra virgin olive oil, shea butter, and our hibiscus powder again. So God only knows what color we're going to get. So basically all you do is you put a teaspoon of shea butter and a teaspoon of olive oil and a teaspoon of the wax in a microwave safe bowl, which is what I have here. I'm going to melt it, and then we're going to add our coloring, which is hibiscus powder. Now, you could also use, of course, cocoa powder. It suggests beetroot powder, which would give you more of a reddish pink. Also suggests using cinnamon, but cinnamon is an irritant. You have to keep that in mind. I mean, you could use it. It's actually used in some lip plumpers, but you just want to like keep that in the back of your head. So I'm gonna go and melt this, and I will be right back. Okay, and we are back. Honestly, it took a lot longer than 30 seconds to melt that wax. I would say I had it in the microwave for a good minute, and there it is. It is melted. It's still hot, so I'm just gonna let it cool off. So we are going to add in some hibiscus powder, because that's what we're going to use. I really don't have too much high hope for this. We'll mix some in. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I can't even... Alright, well, I think we have to put this in the refrigerator. It's definitely not too appealing right now. We'll put a little bit more of this in. Why not? Mix it up. And alright, so now we have like a brown. I have no idea what this is going to look like on the lip. Might be a little interesting. I'm going to put it in the jar if I can get it open. And we are done. You know what? I think the, oh no, here we go. Okay. So. Okay, so it's not even, I guess when it like, you can just pour it in, but just a bowl is like super hot. Because like I said, it took a lot longer to melt down than I thought it would, or that it said it would. Which is no big deal. And this is what we're gonna get. This is the color we're gonna get. So it's kind of look like a rusty, to put it nicely, brown. Alright, so that's good. So that's gonna be our lipstick. And this is gonna go into the refrigerator to harden. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A full face of DIY makeup. And there you have it. Submitted for your approval, because I do feel like I am kind of in the Twilight Zone right now. There it is, a DIY arsenal of makeup. We have a primer, we have eyeshadow, we have, what the, I don't even, oh, this was our lipstick. We have eyeliner, we have blush, we have, what else? Bronzer, foundation, and what was this? Eyeshadow filler. So there you have it. Full face DIY makeup. Did I enjoy doing this? To be honest with you, not really. This just seems like more of a hassle than it's really worth. We will try this stuff on. We'll see how it looks. We'll see if we can actually wear it, if I can actually wear it, how much it lasts. And yeah, we'll give it a wear test and see how it applies, see how it looks. But honestly, I don't think the DIY life is for me, but we'll see. And there it is. Okay, let's try it on. Are you still here? Probably not. But for anybody that did hang around to the end, thank you so much for watching. And what did you think? What did you think of this whole, what do you think of the whole DIY thing? Do you ever use DIY products? Do you like DIY products? Did you ever use any of these recipes? Let me know. And how did you get involved in DIY? Is it because you have an allergy, or is it just because you like DIY products? I would really be interested in knowing. Please leave me a comment down below. If you like the video, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, because like I always say, we plan on talking about it all in the attic. Do I always say that? I don't know, but I do. Plan on talking about it all in the attic. If there's ever anything you want me to talk about, you can also leave me that in the comments below, and if I can talk about it, I absolutely will. I want to thank you so much for joining me, and if you are on Long Island, I hope that you stay safe as we brace for Hurricane Henry. I think that's what they're calling it. Hopefully it misses us. For those of us that remember Sandy, you know how bad that these storms can be. And for anybody that lives in areas that are prone to hurricanes or any kind of storm, I mean, Mother Nature is it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. But like I said, when this goes up, it will be past. So hopefully it misses us and everything is good. So stay safe, guys, and I will see you real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.